Welcome to the American Library Finder GIS application developed by Roos Design and Consulting. Data comes from the National Center for Education Statistics Public Library Survey 2005. Metropolitan status codes were used for mapping. This map shows clusters of libraries across the United States, represented by black dots for individual libraries. This map can be downloaded from our website. Metropolitan status codes are divided into urban, suburban, and rural libraries. We're going to get the data from the cloud, as they say. We're going to go out to ArcGIS Online to get the American Library Finder data. Cloud data. It's basically technology capabilities on demand as services via the internet. To get started, you're going to have to download the ArcGIS Explorer application from the URL listed. After you've installed the application, we're going to show you how to go out to the cloud to get the data. Now that we're in ArcGIS Explorer, we're going to make a few changes first. We're going to change to a World Streets base map. This is a multi-level database. As you zoom in, you find greater detail. Before we get started, we're doing a little house cleaning. Now we're going to go out to the cloud, ArcGIS Online, and search for the American Library Finder data set. Now that we found the data set, we can look at some details about it, description and properties, and decide if this is a data set that we want to use. And now we are loading it, actually downloading it into the ArcGIS Explorer application. This will take a few minutes, and you will get a status window to show in a second here. Notice that the map zooms out to the extent of the data because there are libraries in Alaska and Hawaii as part of this data set. And we'll just rearrange the screen here a bit, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go query, do a query and look for libraries in Seattle, Washington. So as we zoom into the Seattle area, you can see that these are urban libraries because they're coded in red. Next thing we'll do is, just to get a different perspective, we'll zoom out to the state province level, and here you can see the three different classifications of urban, suburban, and rural libraries. Next we'll zoom into a street. And we'll just pan over and find the library icon, and there we can zoom in and you can see that this database, this base map, provides a great deal of detail. Next we'll query this library facility and we'll double click on the icon, and it's going to pull up the corresponding record from the database. Okay, let's take another view of the map, and let's zoom across country to go to Boston, Massachusetts. And we're going to go on a transcontinental road trip here in record-breaking time, and there we are in the Boston area, showing that this database is coast to coast. So the icons are resizing, adjusting to the new street level, and you can see at the bottom, in the bottom middle of the screen, there is a streaming indicator there, showing that when the data is loading or refreshing. So now we're searching based on a zip code, and here we are in Des Plaines, Illinois, and you can see the streaming icon working, and there's the library, and we can query that as well. Pull up the record on that. And in this case, and in many of the cases, there's a URL for the individual library's website. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to pan away from the Des Plaines library, and I just want to show that we can query based on the library's name. So here we are typing in Des Plaines Public Library. And there we go, we're zooming back into the same area. So we were able to do queries based on place name, zip code, and facility name. Another nice feature with ArcGIS Explorer is we can embed notes right into our project screen here. And these notes are persistent. They'll stay there until you delete them. Here I'm just saying that this is my library. And if you go to the table of contents, you can see that there was a note embedded. You can change the name if you so desire. And like I said, it's persistent. As you move around and zoom out, that the note's going to follow you around until you tell it not to. There's many additional features in here that we're not going to cover, but once you download the application, you can play around with it and discover a lot of neat features here. One feature is a presentation that I'll show you in a few minutes. The next thing I'm going to do is go out to a 3D, or it's the Arc Globe view. This will take a few seconds to load. So now we're looking at Arc Globe, and you can see that the data are draped across the globe. You can see there's data in Hawaii, Alaska, and the continental United States. So let's search for New York City and watch how the application zooms into that area. So now we're looking at one icon located in Lower Manhattan, and the streets are actually still refreshing and drawing, so we'll see that there in a second. And here we are now in New York City, and we see our individual library 3D icon, and we'll double click that to pull up its corresponding record to show that this works in 2D as well as 3D. Okay, so we can scroll through here and look at library information the same as we did in Seattle. So this is a robust database, covers the continental United States, Hawaii, and Alaska, contains more than 17,000 libraries. Zooming out to a city view. Next we'll zoom out to a state view. And as I said, these icons look different because they're configured for 3D perspective and the globe. And once again, we're going to zoom back to Seattle, Washington. So, in summary, you need to do two things. You need to download the ArcGIS Explorer desktop application. It's not a web application, it's a desktop application. It's a free download from ESRI. And since this is a proof of concept project, we're trying to show this functionality and how this same functionality can be shown as a web application embedded in your browser. And it would just require some additional technology, some server technology, but it would basically be the same thing, looking at the same data, the same type of base map. So as I said, you could do PowerPoint-like presentations, and here's taking the same information. You could add labels. You can dynamically move around in this presentation mode. This is great for people who are doing research, who need to make presentations and move around easily and show the dynamic data, the data dynamically. So this is wrapping up our presentation here. I hope you found this useful, and look for further developments in this technology at our website at roostdesignconsulting.com.